All right, folks, we've got a story we got to discuss. This one, I'm going to try to be as level-headed as possible. I'm not going to overreact. I'm not going to get angry. I'm not going to pick a side. I'm not going to cap for a company. I'm not going to go anti-consumer. I'm not going to be over the top pro-consumer. I'm just going to look at this from a level-headed perspective. T-Mobile just increased the regulatory programs and telco recovery fee on lines on T-Mobile customer accounts. It says here, at least according to the notification being sent to, I think this was either sent to Sean on X. Shout out to Sean. Thanks for sending this over. Or maybe it's somebody he knows or something. But these notifications are going out to customers. So your line costs per line are going to increase because of this fee increasing. So increase of 50 cents per line for voice lines of service. And it says 20 cents per line for data only lines. And it says effective April 23rd. So that would be in a couple of weeks here. And the reason why I wanted to preface kind of the video by saying I want it to be level-headed is because you guys know I am all for the consumer. And I'm all about consumer protections. That's always going to be who I am and what I am and how I report and make content on this platform. I'm always going to be pro-consumer. And when T-Mobile raised the cost of a line by $5 here in the month of April, and they did this, previously last year, they did it too. I was really amped up about that one. I felt like that one was extreme. To go up $5 on each line and possibly previously going up $2 or $5, so that would have been a second price increase, right? I felt like that was extreme because you look at as a percentage how much your line cost is going up. I thought it was very high. Folks, this is 20 cents per line and 50 cents per line. It's possible maybe a consumer account is going up by a couple of bucks. Maybe. In some instances, $1. It is imperative that we understand the scale of price increases and what is bad, egregious, or what is acceptable, and we'll just call it small, right? In terms of magnitude. This is not an exuberant amount of money. This is not a large sum. In fact, for most people, they won't notice this and they won't care. At least I don't think so. I mean, if they did this every month for a year, it'd be one thing, but I can't think of the last time they actually increased the regulatory programs and telco recovery fee. But I will say this. They are nickel and diming their customers, right? And they just raised pricing and they did it again last year. So the direction that things are going, obviously that's a concern. So I think I would agree with that position. The frequency of these price increases and fee increases coming from the carrier who famously eliminated fees and got rid of customer pain points. This is kind of reintroducing them. But we're not surprised because T-Mobile has changed their uncarrier ways and they've gotten very carrier. So with that, I agree. But I'm not going to get amped up about 20 cents or 50 cents a line. I just can't. It's just not that much. In an inflationary environment where costs are driving up and there's a lot of things that companies have to pay for and people just have to be realistic. I don't think 20 cents a line, 50 cents a line is all that egregious. Now, $5 a line, what they just did, that is egregious. Not even Verizon has the balls to raise costs on a plan by $5 a line, right? They've increased legacy plans. Each plan got hit once or something, like they do it at different times. So it makes it feels like it's with frequency, but really they just hit them all one time and with each thing. So look, that's what these companies do. And I'm going to keep a level head and I'm going to look at the magnitude of this cost increase. It's not something to get bent out of shape about. You might be unpleased with the direction that things are going. And if you are that hell-bent to be angry about this, I'm guessing that you probably flipped a shit and lost your freaking hair. Your mind was blown when you saw $5 a line, right? Because that would be like, 10x this in terms of magnitude. But I just don't think it's that big of a deal. I know other content creators might make videos on the price increases, and I respect it. It's not fun to pay more. You like paying less. But if you are just that bummed out about this, you're just going to have to leave. You're just going to have to go to a new provider. T-Mobile knows you're probably not going to leave. They feel comfortable doing this now. Because if you would have left, you would have left already at $5. And you would have left already at $2. You know, now they're doing 20, 50 cents. They're like, oh, they handled worse. They're still around. You know what I'm saying? So just letting you know how they're thinking, what they feel they have to do. And I think the realistic approach here is it's just not that bad with this one. There have been much worse from other providers, and there's been much worse from T-Mobile. And I don't think they're done. I think they'll do this again soon. I don't know what plans are impacted. I don't know, you know, last I checked, I thought T-Mobile included, you know, fees and taxes on their modern plans. Maybe that's what this goal is, hit the legacy plans that don't have it and get people to move onto modern plans or something. I don't know. Anyways, I hope you guys understand my position. I ain't caping for no company. I'm always going to be pro-consumer, but I think you just have to have a realistic outlook on this. All right, so let me know what you guys think. Like, share, subscribe, drop me a comment. Check out some more of our videos. We'll see you guys on the next one.